Hello and welcome back. First, thank you for watching all the other videos to this point. Hopefully you've gotten a ton out of that. We've covered a lot of different things. We've talked about making sure that we understand what resources we have available to pay for college. That way we can then go shop for colleges. We've talked about American Opportunity Tax Credit, making sure we utilize that every single year because that's a big credit. We've talked about the sticker price of college and why you have to understand that the sticker price isn't all that relevant, honestly, when you look at what financial aid that you can get out of a college. We've also looked at understanding what quadrant you fit in to determine, am I high need-based, low need-based, high merit-based, low merit-based, and what planning opportunities are there for that. And we've also looked at an example of how improving your test scores can get you back a significant amount of merit-based aid, and how it can often be worth it to go ahead and do the test prep courses to pay that money to go through that time and expense, because you can get that back in multiples of dollars of savings on the cost of college. With this video, what I want to try to do is bring together how you would pay for 4 years of college. And in this particular example, we're going to go through a bad plan. It's not necessarily a bad plan because they didn't save enough or they didn't really understand how much it was going to cost. It's just a bad plan from the standpoint of understanding how to then use all the resources that they have available to best pay for college. So we'll show you an example of what was done, and then I'll also show you how it should have been done and what that improvement would look like. That way, as you're going through all this, you can understand where the cash has to come from. I know we've gone through a lot. It's a lot to take in. We do offer a separate service to help if you're wanting our help with that. We feel that it's obviously very much worth it just because you can save so much on the cost of college by putting together a good plan. If you want to do it on your own, absolutely, go for it. And we're going to give you the tools here to help show you how. But if you like our help, it's there for you. We do this all the time. So let's dive into this plan. In this example, we are going to just use the cost of attendance starting at $20,000 and building by $1,500 a year to the point where it's $24,500 in year 4. Now, how do we pay for it? Or how did they pay for it in this example? First, they've done a great job saving into 529 plans. That's awesome. So here's what they did. They said, well, we're just going to use up that money and then pay out of cash flow and loans for the rest of college. So for the first 2 years, they used the $20,000 of their 529 plan to pay for year 1. They used $21,500 to pay for year 2. Done. 2 years covered with the 529 plan. Sounds great. Let's keep going. So for years 3 and 4, they're now going to cover this out of cash flow and out of loans. So we can see here, let's jump to the third line, the parent cash flow. They're going to pay $4,000 each year. Why? The American Opportunity Tax Credit. We want to make sure that we get this $2,500 back in taxes because we're going to use that to help pay for the cost of college. So $4,000 in year 3, $4,000 in year 4, that gets them $2,500 each year as a tax credit. So $6,500 a year covered. They're going to take out Stafford loans. That's $7,500 per year. I'm going to pause here for a second. The reason I pause is because in a previous video, we had mentioned that Stafford loans are use it or lose it. So you get a set amount each year that you can use to help pay for college. In year 3 and 4, it's $7,500. The problem is we missed out on using that loan in year 1 and 2. Why is that a problem? Well, because Stafford loans generally have lower interest rates than other types of loans. And they're the easiest to get, lowest interest rates, easiest to handle. Just for clarification, there's 2 types of loans. There's subsidized and there's unsubsidized. The difference between the two is subsidized. Those loans don't accrue interest while you're going to school. For unsubsidized, you don't have to make any payments until you graduate, but that accrues interest until you start making payments upon graduation. So that's the difference between subsidized and unsubsidized loans. But we want to make sure that if we're going to be taking loans, that we take Stafford loans each and every year up to the amount that we're allowed as much as we need them. So by taking the 529 plan in year one, they missed out on the opportunity to use the Stafford loan amounts. So they're stuck only taking $15,000 for those 2 years. With the rest, they said, okay, we've already paid $4,000 of cash flow in year 3 and 4. We've used the tax credits for $5,000 more of that over those 2 years. We've taken the Stafford loans. Now we're going to take some Parent Plus loans to cover the difference. So it's $9,000 for the 3rd year to cover the difference, $10,500 in the 4th year to cover the difference. So in total, to be honest, the loan amount is not astronomical. I mean, really, we're talking it's $15,000, $24,000, $34,500. I mean, that's no small chunk of change, but it's not out of this world expensive, especially when we look at capping the amount of student loans that we have to be the first year's worth of income that you're going to generate working. So if we're looking at $34,500 of loans, not terrible, but we could have done a little bit better. So what should we do differently? We already talked about the Stafford loans, the fact that we didn't take those in year 1 and 2. So we'd want to make sure that in year 1 we took $5,500, which is the amount in year 1 that we can take, and $6,500 in year 2. So what that would do is that allow us to spread out the 529 plan contributions into years 3 and 4 by utilizing these loans that generally have lower interest rates. We also want to make sure that we are paying out of parent cash flow as much as possible. Obviously, if you don't have it, you don't have it. But if we can pay the $4,000 out of parent cash flow each year, we're getting $2,500 back in tax credits. So it's very much worth it. So by taking the 529 plan funds and using them all in years 1 and 2, we missed out on $5,000 of tax credits in total for year 1 and 2. And then we also missed out on $12,000 of available Stafford loans that we could have used in year 1 and 2. If we had utilized the parent cash flow, gotten the tax credits, and utilized the Stafford loans for basically better loans than Parent Plus loans, that would have covered $12,000 in year 1 and $13,000 in year 2. We could have taken the 529 plan, spread it out over year 3 and 4, and completely eliminated the Parent Plus loan. And in fact, in this example, we'd have a little bit left over in the 529 plan. So you can pass that on to somebody else or keep going to school another semester, whatever you'd want to do. But we'd have that extra 529 plan. We would have completely eliminated the Parent Plus loans. It wouldn't completely eliminate loans altogether because we still would have had $12,000 in Stafford loans, but we would have traded $19,500 in Parent Plus loans for $12,000 in Stafford loans. I hope everybody's following that. It's a key concept is don't just take the 529 plan and dump it in the first couple of years. We see this happen quite a bit. They say, hey, we'll use the 529 plan. When that runs out, we'll use cash flow. It's not a great plan because you're missing out on American Opportunity tax credits. Remember our previous video, you cannot use 529 plan funds for American Opportunity tax credits. You have to use cash flow. So we're much better off utilizing this cash flow to take the tax credits, utilize the Stafford loans, spread out the 529 plan over time, and we can avoid, in this instance, Parent Plus loans altogether. So what they would come out of school with is they would come out with the $12,000 of Stafford loans they had in the first 2 years, and then the $15,000 in the last 2. So $27,000 of Stafford loans, typically very manageable debt coming out of school, and they will have had it all paid for utilizing the tax credits and what they had in the 529 plan. So I hope this helps illustrate exactly why we think it's important to get a good plan in place, because even if you have the best intentions and you think, great, we've saved up a ton, there's still a lot that can be missed along the way if we're not taking the appropriate steps to get where we need to be. So, like I said, we're here to help with this. If you need our help, we have one-time services for college planning. That way you can plan out your resources and how you're going to use them over time in college. We also have more ongoing comprehensive services just for you and your family. If you run a business, we do that all day long. We really help business owners with a lot of their planning and their tax planning. So we have resources available if you want our help. Otherwise, you can subscribe to our Facebook page, like our Facebook page, so you can constantly get our updates. You're welcome to connect with me on LinkedIn if you'd like. I'm always putting videos out there on various financial topics to help. So if nothing else, stay connected with me. You'll get more information. You'll be better off that way. Like I said, if you want our help, contact me. We can talk some more about how we might be able to help you and what you would want to get out of that. So thank you for watching all of our videos. We've stuffed a lot in there. Hopefully it wasn't too much, but we wanted to make sure that you had the tools you needed to go forward and understand how to save on the cost of college. Thanks.